at this juncture, where what we're seeing from Memphis, obviously they're in a crisis situation. They're not quite Kings level, but they're whatever that next level is. They at least have young players on the roster. So when you look at Ja Morant, Damo, like in Jordan, Mars, I mean, Penn, Chill, I'm sorry. Do y'all feel like this situation is unfixable with Ja?
Yep.
And the Memphis Grizzlies situation is over?
It's been unfixable, Swiper. It's been unfixable ever since that kid was running around playing with guns, thinking he was Al Capone and shit. Yeah,
that's why
it's
why I'm
unfixable. He
disappointed
got to
in
go,
Ja.
and then you can't like to Damo point. You can't bring him to L.A. because if he come to L.A., then T coming to L.A. too.
T gonna get his ass raw. This is why I was saying on Tuesday I was disappointed. I know I never got to talk about that, but I'm disappointed in Ja because everything that Ja's been doing since like when he first got to Memphis, everybody embraced him in the NBA. Everybody embraced all this shit with Ja. He plays good. He gets in trouble, comes back, plays good, gets in trouble again, comes back, get hurt. Now you back, and you know everybody is rooting for Ja, and then he play like flat out garbage in a game that just so happened the shit blew up on him, which is okay. You play bad. Nobody is mad at him playing bad, but you go into the locker room and you say, ask the coaches. That ain't got shit to do with you playing shitty. Like you played bad. It ain't got nothing to do with the coaches. Oh,
you do know the coaches ripped him to shreds in front of the team and demanded that he.
Bro, he's not the only player that's
he earned it, Penn. Like, he earned it.
He playing bad. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. But don't say it don't have anything to do with the coaches. It has everything to do with the coaches. I disagree with his sentiment. Go ask the coaches. That's childish. I agree. He answered that question like I would have answered it when I was 13 years old.
He's not 13. He's a grown-ass man.
I'm not defending it. What I'm criticizing here is when you say it has nothing to do with the coaches, it has everything to do with the coaches. The coaches just literally laid into him 5 minutes before he was asked. He was.
But see, this is what I was just talking about, Penn. Coaches aren't even allowed to coach no more. So coaches can't coach. That's what they're supposed to do. If your best player is playing like your worst player, then they're allowed to rip him. They should rip him.
I didn't say they don't have a right to rip him. They rip him all you want.
Yeah, Penn. Maybe restate what you were saying because what it sounded like as if you're saying you're almost criticizing the coaches for coaching him too hard prior to the interview.
I think we have to be.
That's not what I heard.
We have to be caught. Thank you, Cho. Because
that's not what
I feel like
I'm saying, but the chat, Jordan and the Ox and the chat are mishearing what you're saying. So I'm saying, I want you to.
Okay, so let me try to restate what I'm saying.
Answer like that because of the coaches.
It's obvious
they don't got shit to do with the coaches. That's
Jordan. Let him. Yeah, go ahead, Penn. Go ahead.
Ja Morant was a 0-star recruit. Okay, this is a guy who built himself up to a 7. Hold up, don't shake your head. It's true.
What the hell I got to do with anything?
I didn't know he was getting the history.
Just let him get his point off.
I didn't know that's what we was going. I thought we were just going to get him re-explaining the little point.
Penn, go ahead. Say because I think you're going to give an analysis of why you feel like this is a long-term.
Ja was a 0-star recruit. Went to Murray State, made himself into a 2nd overall pick, turned himself into an all-star, blossomed. Is a joyous person who's put a lot of work into his craft. He probably peaked out at about 22, and he's had a couple of tough seasons. 22, 23 onward has been a bit of a tough season. It's been tough with injuries. It's been tough with the IG stuff. A lot of this is self-inflicted. I'm not saying Ja doesn't deserve criticism. He does. He has fallen off as a jump shooter. He's falling off as an athlete right now. His touch around the rim is not the same. That being said, I think this is still a very prideful person. And when a coach rips into you in front of your teammates and demands that you be a better leader, a better professional, and the media is going to come to you 2 seconds, 5 seconds after that, give it generously less than 5 minutes after that, and say, how do you feel about the game, blah, blah, blah. You still heated.
So it's not the coach's fault. It's Ja's fault.
Hold on, man. You have to acknowledge that this is a human thing, Jordan. Sometimes Jordan, right now you are in a fight or flight. Okay, right now. If I say something about you,
grown ass man, I can answer a question.
You're not too old for fight or flight, bro. What I'm trying to tell you is when you get caught,
in a fight or flight situation,
you are absolutely in a fight or flight situation when you get called out in front of your whole team and they demand that you be a better leader and call you out. Yeah, you are. Okay,
and then 5 minutes later, Jordan, the camera is in your face with a bunch of reporters.
What do you want to say about it?
So he's childish. So that's a him problem. He's childish. If you can't,
you childish.
Bro, so if I'm at work, because this is what he's at. He's at work, and one of his supervisors, his coach, ripped his ass and said, Ja, you play like whatever. I don't know. He said whatever. You also have a job to the media. You know the media is going to come and put the microphone in your face. Newsflash, Ja is not the only person that ever played in the NBA that got ripped by a coach and got interviewed after. He's not. So Ja decided in the interview after the coach just ripped his ass to be basically a fucking loser. At the coach, I don't know. Maybe they don't want to play me. Maybe that's some childish shit. Bruh, your ass played bad. They didn't even ask you about the fucking coaches. They asked you about how you played. You brought up the coaches. They didn't ask him about that. Why did he bring that up? They didn't have nothing to do with the coaches. It had everything to do with Ja.
He just got chewed out by his coaches, Jordan. And I'm trying to tell you that, yes, it is childish. Hold on. But it's human. It's human. And let's not be crazy about it. After a tough loss, we have seen players swear. I saw Shaq swearing to a mic. Fuck these referees. They're fucking ruining the game. You heated.
On live TV too, by the way.
Now, I want to tell you that Ja is a player who plays off of emotion. Ja is a player who plays off emotion. Hold on. And the emotion thing can go both ways. So when it's going good, you praise him because he's dancing and he's doing the gritty and he's dunking on dudes and he's snarling and he's clapping his hands. But when it goes bad, here's the thing. And I'm just ended at this, Swipe. I don't want to go too long-winded on this one. I think sometimes the media wants a reaction and they fish for it because it makes the headlines. Ja made every single headline across sports based on what he did. That clip went viral. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is sometimes I can push you into going there when I already know you're going there. And it's a good faith thing. If I'm trying to protect you, which is, what the Chicago media tried to do with Michael Jordan, is what the Lakers media tried to do with Magic, because you want to protect the cash cow and you want to, you heard about this little drug thing, you heard about the little gambling thing, you just bury that, you sit on that, okay? What I'm trying to say is right now is Ja Morant struggles, and he's no longer the superstar that he once was, and he's no longer cash cow. Right now, the most profitable thing for the media is to rip him apart. And I'm trying to not get in on that and just trying to tell you that in that moment, when he said, go ask the coaches, you see a childish response, I see a childish response, but I see that he is a human being who was heated as hell in that moment, and he was pissed off, and I'm happy that he's pissed off because he should be pissed off. With the way that he's playing right now, he should be pissed off. And you know what? I will not be surprised if he gets traded to another team. If he gets traded to another team, go let him get traded to another team. I guarantee you're going to see a resurgence.
But see, Damo, that's where Damo, that's why I feel like two things in this particular situation. I feel like two things can be true because now we got a new coaching staff, and before when he was with Taylor Jenkins, it was very clear what Ja Morant's role was on his crew. He's with this team. It looks way different. Like they've cut some things out of the offense that's kind of taken away from his game. They've taken the ball out of his hands as much. He didn't play with the ball as much as he used to. So it seems to me like some roles have been redefined. And I don't think that he knows exactly what he should be doing, which is a coaching thing. On the flip side to that, I am a professional. I do know that when we lose a game and I suck that night, I can get my ass reamed for it, right? And I got to be prepared when the cameras walk in here, right? I got to be prepared. Let me rephrase that. I got to be prepared with the coaches to chew me out. So with the coaches chewing me out and then the cameras walk in here, I got to be prepared for just getting chewed out and then staying professional. So I think two things can be true in this situation. But to Penn's point, I think two things can be true in this situation.
Did the media make it worse though, Chill? Did the media make it worse though?
Because I want to break this down.
No, Ja made it worse. Ja made it worse.
That's what I was about to say. Who made this situation worse? The coaches or Ja?
The coach is doing their job. Ja probably not doing his job. That's why the coaches got to do their job. But if I'm the media and I see that he's a bit cagey right now, and I have his best interest, I'm telling you right now, if I'm a friend of Ja, because let's be honest, media players, constant communication. If I have this dude's best interest, I'm not continuing to fish for an answer when he not giving me the right answer.
They got a job.
I'm not gonna be like, what do you want?
Nobody knew nothing.
No, man, they're fishing for a quote.
Wait.
They got a job to do.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Penn,
yes, sir.
What should they have done? Once they asked him the question, I'm gonna set the table. Once they ask him the question, they see the childish response, they see he is emotional. What do you believe the job of the media was in that moment?
To ask him if he needs 5 minutes.
Oh my fuck.
Okay, so all right.
And that's much long to do those interviews.
And that's fine. That's fine if we're being emotionally intelligent and we're thinking about our another human in our face. We got a job to do. We have a job to do. And I feel that the reporter that clearly asked him, okay, removed from the coach. He asked him verbatim, what do you feel you could have done differently? You could have done better on the court, excluding what the coaches said. What that right there is a layup of a question to reel in the emotion and just talk about the game and be a professional. And at that moment, that was the moment where he had to make the decision. Am I going to be Ja Morant, the emotional person, or Ja Morant, the basketball player? And he made a decision to take emotions over professionalism when he decided, ask the coaches. They basically said, don't play me. Ask the coaches.
And Jordan, just for context too, as somebody who's in the media room too, Penn, I think it's important to note, so in the Nuggets, we do our interviews, it's like at a table. So they sit at the table, there's a podium, there's a microphone. Sure. In those instances, you don't, like, all I have is now, and again, Jamal knows this, so I'm not saying anything bad. Jamal is very spicy when he doesn't feel good, play well, situation, just whatever. And when you ask Jamal certain questions, he's extremely short, extremely blunt, and he has a reputation, he knows this, it's on him, where he will literally will deliver very pointed, sarcastic comments at times at people based on how the question is framed. And now
what do you mean by all you have is now? Could you talk?
So when you do a post-game interview, the players literally, you leave the media section, and Jordan, because you talking about they don't have that time, and Damo said that, right. You leave the media section, you go downstairs, and you go downstairs into either a media room or you go into a locker room right after the game, right after the coaches talk to them. So it depends on the team. The Nuggets, the PR sets up the table. They give you the opportunity. Maul and some of the younger players will come in first. So they usually do 3 players. They'll come in first, and then you'll have an opportunity for 5 minutes to talk to them. And then you get 5 minutes to ask them about the game. Now, Jokic, what he does, he gets done with the game. He goes to the training room, and he goes to lift. He lifts after every single game. So you wait about an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes for Jokic, and you get 5 minutes with Jokic. Yeah, he takes an hour and 15 minutes after every game. Yeah, you get 5 minutes with Jokic. And so I think what's happening, Penn, is you get in this situation, it is required by the NBA players show up to this. And that's why when people don't show up to the post-game interviews, like I think James Harden did maybe last year after Game 7 or something like that, that's why you get fined or scolded, because that's your job. Because the media, they then have deadlines, Penn, that they have to meet that night that are written material and or video material. So what happens is if the player comes late or they come out and they do the locker room interview, you get 5 minutes. I have to write a story based on what I've heard in this moment. And the thing that I know has to get me generating clicks, I got to ask direct questions about the game, because the fans, and this is what I will say about fans and their intelligence level now, they might not know the X's and outs, Jordan, of basketball, but what happens is they have seen and watched every moment of the game. Now it's on them to get the information so that the fan base can then read and disseminate. This is why player X feels this way. This is why player coach.
Let me put you in that situation, Swipe, because you're the one. I mean, I've done a little bit of media stuff, but you're the one right now who's got the credentials, who's doing this stuff. Let me give you a situation. The Nuggets have a really tough loss. Jamal Murray has a 7th straight game. He's shooting so bad from the field right now because he's coming off of, a tough summer or something personal going on in his life or whatever. He didn't work hard enough, whatever the hell is. He's had more air balls than made threes so far. You hear through the grapevine that a lot of shit went down in the locker room where there was a lot of screaming between Jamal and the coaching staff. You guys walk in when the media is allowed, which is typically after the coaches speak to the players. This is 5 minutes after. You put a microphone in Jamal's face. You can see he's heated. He's still shaking. He's still pissed off. And you ask that first question, how do you feel about the game tonight?
No,
and
they ask him.
Hold up, Jordan. And he gives you the following response. I don't know. Go ask them. What's your next question?
Well, but like I said, I have to. But I think that's the problem, Penn. You give me that response. I have to. Yeah, I hear you, but the problem is that you still have a responsibility to be an adult, and I know that's where I am with it.
So this is my question to you, Swipe, because in that moment you have a decision too, because you're not the one who's fight or flight. You just have a job to do. Yeah. So you're the composed person in the situation. Now, look, we've all been in relationships. We've all had friends where we've gotten into a fight, and one person is way up here, and the other person is kind of calm. I think in that moment, it's a person who's calm who could just say, "We're not cool right now. Let me just take a 10-minute walk."
But you can't do that.
You can't do that. You only got 5 minutes. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that, but maybe look, I understand the people in the chat are going to say this is soft and whatever. But Like, no,
we've had players not talk
you
to
have
the
to
media.
take accountability for him to lose your job.
But we've had players talk to the
we've
had players not talk to the
Jordan,
media immediately. You have to make yourself available to the media 30 minutes after a game, from what I understand.
Exactly.
But we've had players.
So
we've had players.
I don't have to.
We've had
maybe
players.
maybe the PR department should have protected Ja in that moment. Maybe the PR department should have said, "We are not taking questions with Ja Morant right now." Maybe you need to know that.
That's not. No. The
PR department absolutely can.
No,
do
but
that.
the problem is if you get requested, the PR, they are supposed to be the connection between the team and the media and the fans. They don't have, they can't say unless it's something egregious. I'm talking about like egregious. You can't have access. If the media puts out a request and said, "Hey, we want to interview player X," then they have an obligation to then make sure player X is there. But that's why when players don't show up to the meetings, that's why they get criticized for it. Because if you have and by the way, Penn, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think you're going too far, but I also think like there is something to Jordan. We have seen your best player on the Houston Rockets not show up to media interviews after bad performances, get rightly criticized for. LeBron himself has done that before, where they didn't show up to media interviews at time and then don't do it, and you get criticized for it because it's your job. I know that it's frustrating, the feeling, but this is the problem, and I'm gonna tell you on behalf of some other people that are deeper in this than me. They will constantly tell you, "I understand it's difficult, but you got to understand, Penn. I'm making $42,000 a year doing this job. You're making $50 million. It might feel like it's unfair,
irrelevant.
but no, it is relevant because you have to still get your job done." Penn, I just want to understand, Penn, you can't, you as a player, I understand you're upset. You still have an obligation to fulfill your job.
Do their job.
That's simple.
Hold on, let me say this because some people here.
Ja Morant didn't do his job.
Well, no, Ja
thank
was
you.
there.
Congratulations.
He answered the questions.
The PR department.
Actually,
for the Raptors, the PR is JQ. So JQ will hit up the media and just say, "By the way, guys, before we even get out here, we're not answering any questions about this topic. So no questions about this topic. That cannot be." Certain players are asked.
They didn't ask him about the coaching job.
Hold up.
They asked him about the basketball game.
PR representative can absolutely.
Wait a minute. Keep going.
Given the situation that Ja is in, first of all, Ja is a franchise player. Nothing good came out of that. Making him available to the media after that game. Players can choose not to make themselves available to the media. The PR department can choose to skip media. Okay. Sometimes players do it of their own volition. Allen Iverson did it all the time. Kobe Bryant's done it. LeBron's done it. I don't want to talk to the media today. So in that moment, somebody had to have Ja's back because he was in self-destruct mode. And I'm trying to tell you, I'm not sitting here defending Ja. I'm saying organizationally, you have to know that after the games that Ja has had, that he's going to say something.
They went into the locker room.
Now, Penn,
that's the other dynamic. They walked into the locker room. But hold on, but chill. But chill. I've been quiet for most of the day, chill. And I'm throwing it to you. Chill. They asked him a basic basketball question.
And not only did they ask him a basic basketball question, Penn, what you're assuming is that protection that you want Ja to have. You're assuming that the PR people, they were in the locker room. They weren't there when he got chewed out.
That's what I'm saying.
So they don't know what was going on. They have no idea what was going on. Now, there's times when I can, as a PR guy, get behind something or get in front of something because I already seen it, and we seen Ja on AI on AG with a gun charge. Okay, let's get in front of this. I have no idea what happened 5 minutes ago when the coaches just chewed him out, and then the microphone is put in front of his face. That's not on me. Absolutely
they didn't even
not.
ask about that, Gio.
And not only did they not ask about that, they asked him, what could you have done better?
Hold on, Chill. I'll give you a better one. They specifically tried to weave the bullshit that Ja was saying when they moved the question to let's not bring up the coaches.
Yeah, let's take the coaches off.
Let's take them off. Ja, and Ja said, I don't know, the coaches shouldn't play me. They tried to move every way but where Ja was going. They didn't even. The first thing was, you look like you lost your joy. Ask the coaches. Your joy. Ask the coaches. Well, you didn't play this.
That was a different game. That was a different game. That joy thing was the game after.
No. They asked him that same interview too. They asked him about his joy too. They said, "Look like you don't have your joy," and he said,
"They said energy." He said, "Look like you don't have your energy."
What energy? Okay.
Because in the game too, it didn't look like it
against the Lakers. Yeah.
So my thing is, what does this have to do with the media? They don't know that the coaches just chewed him out. They don't know. They just asked the question.
There was only one question that could be deemed as like, okay, you're trying to egg out something questionable. In my opinion, it was one person who asked, "Do you think you should be playing more minutes?" That was the only person who I could argue, like, okay, yeah, he's fishing for something.
I'm not the
wait, Penn.
I watched it. The first question was because once again, the PR team, from my knowledge, I don't know if it's different in basketball, but the PR team aren't in the locker room after the game when the coaches are addressing.
No, they're not.
No. From my knowledge, and it might be different in basketball, but in other sports, I know they're definitely not. So the PR team wouldn't know Ja Morant's moods once the media come in, because they don't know what happened in the locker room after the game. They're as oblivious just as we are, just as the media team are. So they can't have Ja's back and protect him from media questions when they don't know Ja's in a bad mood right now. Then it starts off with what went wrong in today's game. Ja Morant says, ask the coaching staff. Okay, cool. The next person asks, is there anything that you could have done differently?
Mars, can we just play the clip?
Hold on, let Mars finish first. Let Mars finish first.
Well, I mean, it's going to.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Mars. If you feel like it would be helpful for just the audience, if they haven't like
run it.
Yeah, you can do it. Okay.
You guys just for people so they can hear.
What went wrong to you today?
Go ask the coaching staff.
Do you feel like, I mean, there was anything you could do differently, I guess?
You go ask them. They had a whole spiel in here, so.
From the outside, and the outside may be wrong, but from the outside, it didn't look like you had your usual energy tonight.
Go ask the coaching staff why.
Okay. You feel like you should play more?
Go ask the coaching staff. Should I play more or not?
What had been done? What could have been done different to get a different outcome other than asking the coaching staff?
According to them, probably don't play me. Honestly, that's what basically the message was after. So it's cool.
The coaching staff message was it?
It's cool. Huh? We good?
You didn't have anything physically wrong in terms of illness or anything?
Oh, no,
you were under the
I'm
weather.
fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
All right.
So as we can see, there's only one question that can be seen as fishing for something, and I think that's the minutes question. I think we can all agree. Do you think you should play more minutes is a question where they're fishing for something.
Because Ja gave it to him, though. Ja gave it to him.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing. I'm not the biggest fan of the media in general. I don't whatever, but I think that question can be deemed as fishing. Asking someone after they play horribly what went wrong is a very fair question. Then when the person answers, ask the coaching staff, and then you ask a question, is there anything that you could do differently? Clearly trying to steer the question away from the coaching staff and get an answer from Ja about himself. He then says, ask the coaching staff. Then you ask him about his individual energy, and he says, ask the coaching staff why I didn't have my energy. Okay, cool. Then someone asks, away from asking the coaching staff, once again, is there anything that you could have done differently? The media are trying to give him layups.
That's what
they're trying. I'm not the biggest fan of the media in general. Me personally, if I was an athlete, I would hate my media obligations. I've made that very clear. I would hate it. But it seems to me, if we're going to say that the media have to protect Ja or the PR team has to protect Ja, whatever, the PR team had no knowledge of what Ja was going through because they weren't in the locker room when the coaches got onto him. So they couldn't know. And then you're going to say the media team the media have to protect Ja. They gave him layups. Like they gave him questions. Even if he didn't want to answer, you could say no comment. Now I'm going to say, as a human being, there's time. We've all been up here. We've all lost our composure. We've all got mad. We've all said things we don't mean. Yeah, like that happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But that doesn't mean you're absolved of criticism when it does happen.
Right. That doesn't mean just because
people get mad at me when I troll episodes when things don't go my way. People got mad at me that I was arguing for Shaden Sharp for an hour about the best dunker in Blazers history. Like, cool. People are gonna complain about that. That like Ja is responsible for his actions, whether I agree with his actions or not. He is responsible for them, and the reaction 100%. That people have given to that is what it is. I can't blame the media when they asked him perfectly valid questions. They didn't ask him anything.
After that first response, you weren't getting anything from him. He's basically telling you to. He's basically telling you F off. He's telling you I don't want to talk to you right now.
So they're all supposed to just not do their job.
Coaches is basically
they're meant to not do their job because Ja's not doing it.
Because Ja's in a mood.
Because Ja's in a bad mood, they're meant to do their they're not meant to do their job and then go back to their bosses and say, hey, I know you wanted me to talk.
Well, he didn't want to talk.
Hey, he wasn't in a good mood, so sorry, I can't do my job for you.
As your boss, I'm gonna fire you.
That's not the way that works.
No comment.
Right. That's not the way that works. No.
So what is he gonna say? My teammates are at fault.
No.
Better.
Hold on.
Anything he could do differently.
Please.
With what you could do differently.
Because this is such a nasty conversation. And I seen somebody in the chat bring up, oh, this is just like what Marshawn Lynch said. I'm just here so I don't get fined. And y'all thought it was funny. No, everyone thought it was also unprofessional, but he stood on business. We moved on. We said, okay, that was funny the way to go about it. But he did that for multiple weeks, multiple different interviews. We knew what he was doing. We knew what he was doing. He made it clear what he was doing. He don't feel like answering questions. He's sick of the media. I'm just here so I don't get fined. That's the difference there. With Ja Morant, A, no one knows that you're feeling this way. B,
nobody.
They gave him multiple different outs to give an answer that they had nothing to do with the coaches or whatever it was. He chose to be an unprofessional person in that moment, and that's fine. You can be unprofessional. I have no problem with basketball players or professional athletes having moments where they're just human. They're unprofessional. No one is mad about that. No one is mad about him being unprofessional. What we're mad about is honestly the reaction people are giving where we're caping for this grown man like he's a baby. Y'all are babying Ja Morant. Bruh, he was unprofessional. He should just answer the question going forward or just refuse to speak, if anything. That's it. Move on.
I don't have a problem with any of his answers, by the way. I don't care what anyone answers in the media. I just don't think we can act like it's anyone's responsibility other than Ja Morant what he answers. I don't care that he said go ask the coach stuff. Whatever, answer whatever you want. I don't care about the media. Troll them, do whatever you want. I don't care. But then don't act like it's any other person's responsibility for why you answer what you answer other than yourself. Ja Morant chose to go into that meeting. He knew he was going, like you said, players can choose to make themselves available to the media, which would mean Ja Morant could have said, I'm not taking questions today. He chose to take questions that day. Then he decided he wanted to get off where he wanted to get off about the coaching stuff. Take responsibility for that decision.
But also, I want people to know.
5 minutes ago, players can choose to take questions from the media. Kobe did it. Bron did it. You said they can do that, and now you're saying he didn't choose to take questions from the media.
Hold up.
That's what you just
You're
said.
not going to reinterpret what I'm saying. You can choose to not show up.
Those words.
Man, stop it. You don't know what you're talking about. You cannot choose.
Those words.
Yo, Mars, like
Mars, you just said it wrong. He said players can choose not to take interviews or whatever it is. You said no. You said can. You said can. You said can.
I said they can choose not. Okay, so let me clarify because it's like the 80th time in this episode that I got to re-clarify some shit I said because you want to reinterpret it in your own way. I'm telling you that you can choose not to show up to the podium. But when someone comes into the locker room and holds a camera in your face and throws a microphone in your face, yeah, what are you going to do? We have seen Russell Westbrook. We have seen Russell Westbrook. We've seen DeMarcus Cousins. We have seen what happened with the Joel Embiid thing in the locker room. I personally, and this is my opinion,
the guy who wrote an article about his dead brother. Well,
yes.
Brought up his dead brother.
So personally, I would like if I were running a media team or if I were the head of PR. I would honestly ban media from the locker room. It is a place for the team. No, I would have media interviews outside the locker room or on the podium. I don't want media coming into my player spaces. And honestly, I watch two teams that do this very well. That have PR directors that protect players. You will never see this shit happen. You will never see this happen in OKC. You will never see this happen in San Antonio. And I guarantee you'll never see this happen in Toronto. These are three teams that have elite protection of players in this situation.
Well, but hold on, but time out, Jordan. And I do want to say that's not what happened. Well, to be fair, hold on, y'all. Hold on, pin. Mars. That's not all the way what happened, to be fair, but I will say this. I do want the audience to know, and anybody that's watching this, nobody up here is against Ja Morant. This is a simple conversation about etiquette, but to be fair, it's a conversation about etiquette. What do you do? Ox is not against him. Stop. And no, neither is stop.
100%.
I think
I don't support.
No. I know. I hear you. But no. And then I know who's in the background doing this. Just be normal for once. Like I'm asking. I know exactly who's in the background doing it too. Just be a normal person for 2 seconds. In this instance. Yeah, in this, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's better. Like y'all. Matter of fact,
as you were saying,
do you chat? Do you understand how much better the shows have been?
Hey,
Goodness gracious, this is crazy. All I'm saying is that this is not a criticism of him as a human being. We're being conscious of Penn, all the stuff that he's dealing with and everything. But this is a question about professionalism and how you respond in moments of adversity. And again, I, including myself, have missed many moments where I should have been more professional or more aware. And I'm the first to the ballot saying I need to be better. Go ahead.
What was the first question? I'm sorry. Go ahead,
I just want to say, Swiper don't speak for me. I am against that thug and his parents. I just want everybody to know I'm condemning all of it. So just putting that out there. We don't support none of that over here. Not in this household. These four walls are against that thug. What?
That quickly.
Facts.
Mars, what was his first? What was the first question to him?
What went wrong tonight?
Damn, Chill.
First thing he was asked.
What the hell went wrong with you?
I'm sorry, Mars.
I'm about to say, who hit the corner?
Say it again.
The first question was what went wrong tonight.
What went wrong tonight? What went wrong tonight is we didn't shoot the ball well. I could have done a better job of getting around screens. I thought that we weren't very good on the glass. I could have done a better job in taking care of the basketball. I had 8 turnovers. I had 6 turnovers. So that's part of what went wrong tonight. Keep going, Mars.
Is there anything you could have done different?
Yes, I could have done a better job in taking care of the basketball. And I passed up some shots that I think I could have made. I think I missed some guys that had easy shots. I missed Jaren diving to the basket. One time he was wide open and I ended up missing him. And I took a 3 at the end of the shot clock, and that was definitely my fault.
And guess what?
Keep going, Mars. Keep going, Mars.
Because then the other questions was based on what he
yeah, but then if you would have answered those questions seriously, the questions would have changed.
Nobody would even ask about you.
What's the third one?
From the outside, it looked like you didn't have your usual energy tonight. What was going on?
Next question.
Do you think you should be playing more?
That's a question for the coaching staff.
What could have been this one as well. What could have been done differently other than asking the coaching staff? But I would have never had to ask that question if
you would never said that.
But once again, if Ja Morant didn't want to answer the question, cool. I'm just on the side of Ja Morant is responsible for what words come out of his mouth.
Sure.
If he wanted to do that with the coaching staff, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's because they shouted at him. No, he chose to say those things. If he says next question to all of the questions, he chose to say next question. If he chose to engage with the media, if he chose to engage with the media and answer the questions the way a professional would, then that's what he chose to do. Ja Morant, just like all of us up here, is responsible for the words that come out of his mouth. He chose to do that. The consequences of that was him getting suspended 1 game by the team. He lives with the consequences. We move on. It's no one else's fault other than him. He chose to do it.
Delsky go ahead.
Really quickly, Drench. So we clear. I could take a second before I get in front of that microphone. Just because y'all dudes came in here and y'all was like, all right, but I can give me a second. Hang on for a second. I can do that. I don't have to start talking to y'all as soon as y'all put that microphone and the camera in my face.
Yeah,
that's my only stance. That's it.
And Chill, this too. Had he answered those questions just like how you answered those questions, then the level of respect for the organization and the level of the stories that they could write about him will be even better. It would be better for the stigma around Ja Morant anyway. If he just went through whatever he went through about being a better leader, and he said, you know what, this is a perfect time. Boom, they asked me a question. Even though I'm mad, first of all, and I know people will say, oh, well, he's human. We human too. Nobody know what anybody got going on behind these cameras right here. We have no idea. You don't know. So for us to come up here and if Swiper asks me a question, go ask my mama. Go ask my baby mama. Go ask my cousin. The fuck? What is that? What does that have to do with anything?
Hey, wait. And we got a Hall of Famer up here. By the way, shout out to the brother, Amir. Amir, obviously, you've been listening to this conversation in depth now for about 35 minutes, I would say. Penn obviously has a position that he stated. Ox and Damo are on the complete opposite side of that. And then obviously there are a lot of conversations kind of in between. Amir, how do you feel about everything that you're hearing right now?
I am in between, to be honest, because on one hand, I do understand the human aspect of it, and I don't like it when people dehumanize athletes. I'm not talking about Ja specifically here, but generally, I don't like it when someone does something unprofessional and then the first response is, oh, this guy's earning 50 million. This has nothing to do with you being human. Not everything that upsets a human has to do with money. So the fact that you're earning extra money doesn't mean you can automatically switch some sort of button and be less human. That's on one hand.
Hey, so Amir,
on
so
another
can the president
hand,
not act like that because he's
no,
the
no,
president?
wait. Let me finish. So on the other hand, I do believe that if you are unprofessional while earning that money, that means there are generally more repercussions than when someone who's earning less money acts unprofessionally. So that comes with the territory when it comes to the repercussions and the reactions, because the reason he earns that much money is because he's famous. He's a high profile athlete. So when he does something on camera that is unprofessional, he's going to get that reaction. And so I agree with the human side, but at the same time, I cannot just say the media's job is to protect him. I don't think it's the media's job. I think maybe one of his teammates could have said, just don't speak to the media today, But to say that the media's job is to protect him I think it's crazy.
That's not their job. That's not
it's
their
not
job.
their job. And actually, the guy was very respectful.
He doesn't matter. Like, we all human. Like, that's a given.
Who'd you say, Amir?
The guy who was asking the questions was very respectful. There are a lot of media reporters in these situations who would have done much worse than what this guy did.
Do you know how bad it would look if they asked, what have you done differently tonight? Oh no, ask the coaches. Here comes Triple J. Hey, that's enough. That's enough. No more questions. No more questions.
Out of here.
What? You want to talk about a media firestorm? That would have been awful.
That story was, they had no idea what just went on in the locker room.
You know what I
Damo,
love
did
about
we
the
see
internet?
that? If I'm not
you know
mistaken,
what I love
did we
about
see
the
that with
internet
Russell
show
Westbrook?
is people who cannot control the simplest parts of their life, cannot control their debt, cannot control their diet, cannot control any part of their life, are up here talking about, like, on Twitter. Go look at the Twitter. Can't control any part of their life. Probably don't have $12 in their bank account.
Relax, Damo. He ain't talking about
sitting
like he said can't control that diet. He was obviously talking about me. I took it.
What does that have to do? What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, that was a
like,
major trigger memory.
I don't like this idea of like talking like you're.
If you don't have $12 in your account,
you're
not if you don't have $12 in your account, you're not allowed to talk about what you're observing.
Yeah, because I can get $12 tomorrow.
How about the envy element here? Here's the thing. You think because a guy makes $50 million, first of all, shout out to Amir, cooked completely.
He did not cook. He made $50 million based on because we have an expectation of you. He did not cook. Like, I don't get why y'all.
He made $50 million.
My point is,
making the money
there is a certain amount. Every time a player underperforms, yo, man, this has been going on for like 50 years. Every time a player underperforms, we start counting their paper and be like, I can't believe we're paying this guy $35 million. It's like, shut the hell up, bro. You work at Walmart and you can barely, you're not paying him.
Would you say I paid $20 for this nasty ass burger?
But
First of all, the media very rarely will criticize ownership. Will very rarely criticize the organization. The players are the ones, right? Now, honestly, I think Ja is messing up for sure. I'm not sitting here saying Ja not playing terrible. Ja is playing terrible. And they had a right to ask him the questions. But I'm saying in that moment when he was heated, I feel like somebody in his corner, be it his agent, be it a PR representative, be it one of his teammates, needed to get him out of that situation because he was not going to do something positive for himself. It's just like sometimes when I'm going off and Ron will be like, I'm going to mute you right now. I'm going to send you back. Come back in 5 minutes. That is you.
But Damo, are we talking about Damo? We're not talking about a guy that's been in the league for a year, 2 years. We're talking about a seasoned vet here. Like, he's been around for a while.
He's 26 years old.
Not really, man. I don't even like this whole conversation. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I don't like this whole conversation. I don't think we should be psychoanalyzing players like this. Money doesn't change inexperience and wisdom. Just because you got a lot of money doesn't change anything. And I think this whole thing has to do with the coaches.
It changes your expectations, though.
Yes, it does.
It can, but okay, if I give a 15-year-old $50 million, does that mean he had to be more wise? He had to be able to know how to speak in an interview? Like,
yes, he should be wiser about his decisions.
No, that's not how that works.
Hold on.
Don't get paid.
Well, he asked the question. You do have to be more wise once you get more money.
Yes.
Now, are you going to be? Yeah,
exactly. That don't change.
But you have to. You do have to.
It's not a switch. It's not a switch.
I know that for a fact. People literally.
Yeah, it's not. You don't just flip a switch and become wise. But once you do,
Dale, you just brought up
you
just brought up a really interesting point. You just said when I get this money that it doesn't change anything. Dale, I can't hang around in the projects in Jersey City no more because I make $25 million. I can't bring the Bentley to the projects. I can't hang at the corner pocket in Jersey City. I can't do that no more. Because why? I'm the face of an organization now. There's things that I used to be able to do that I can't do anymore. And you know why? Because I'm on the books for $30 million. I'm on billboards now. I can't do the stuff that I used to be able to do before I did that.
They will literally not pay you because of that. They will literally say, I don't know if I can give you this money because I can't trust you.
If I give you $50 million to be up here, you wouldn't crash out on the chat anymore? That just goes away immediately.
Yes, if they pay Chill $50 million, why would if they say Chill, I'm gonna pay you $50 million, but you cannot crash out on the chat no more.
I gotta chill out.
Ja didn't crash out. What are we talking about?
Listen, I think Ja kept it very respectful. Here's what I'm gonna say. I don't think beyond a certain point, money does not change your life. I hate to tell y'all this. There's always the fantasy that people have that, oh, if I make $50 million, everything about my life would change, and I wouldn't do drugs anymore, and I'd keep myself in shape, and I wouldn't hang around this person and that person. That's not how people work. Okay, people's traumas are real. People's triggers are real.
Yeah,
and the human element of it is true.
Nobody cares.
That was asked the coaches. That's all he said. All he said. I think the problem is this is the coach's fault. It's always a brand new coach who want to set an example on a star player. I think this is the coach's fault. This is the coach's fault. Every time a new coach come in, they want to, the star player, I'm going to show y'all that I could talk to him any type of way, so everybody else fall in line. This is the coach's fault. All Josh said was ask the coaches. We act like he did a drunken interview, or he swung on a coach, or he bumped somebody like Embiid did to the one reporter, which I think Embiid was justified doing that. But all he said was ask the coaches. That's it.
No, you're right.
Analyzing that instead of talking about what led to that. What did the coach say that made him say?
Is this situation, Delsky? I just want to ask you.
I do agree.
You seem very sensible about this, Delsky. Is this situation being covered differently because it is Ja Morant?
Their fault that he was emotional.
I think so. I think it's because it's Ja Morant.
Because if Jamal Murray had said, go ask the coaching staff, I don't think people would have made a mega storm out of it. But if Nikola Jokic had said, go ask the coaching staff, if Paul George said, okay, Paul George, different story.
When you
already have a negative reputation, and a lot of that is on Ja, the health and the injuries, he can't control that. Making threes, not making threes. Maybe he could have controlled that a little bit better by training a little bit more in the offseason. I don't know what he did in the offseason. My point is, a lot of this hate that he's getting right now a lot of it is his own actions. The league suspends you for waving a gun on IG. You do it again. That's on you. That you can't be stupid twice. I get it. But this isolated incident of go ask the coaching staff right after a heated meeting with that coaching staff in which they ripped him to shreds in front of his teammates. I agree with Delsky. If you are a coach, what positive can come out of triggering your star player into such a defensive response? If you know that he's emotional, and obviously he is probably, emotionally defensive, why don't you pull him aside and have that conversation privately instead of trying to berate him in front of his teammates? Now, old school heads up here who can barely take criticism from one person on one small thing are going to be like, well, he should just take it because he's getting $50 million.
Yeah,
Maybe you don't want to.
Can we please stop? Hold on. Because I'm getting so sick of that being tossed around like this. Bro, in real life, in the world we live in, there are two things that will determine what you are able to take or what's acceptable at your job. Your rank at your job and how much they pay you for doing said job. If you have a very highly touted job or whatever in terms of responsibility or importance, you should be able to handle that job a lot differently than a person bagging fries at McDonald's. I do not require the person putting the fries in the bag to have the same level of professionalism as the man that needs to answer these questions at the end of basketball games. That is a part of your job. That is literally.
But that's the difference, though.
Hold on.
No. Say you're at McDonald's and 7 people fall out, and right after the shit, you have to cover for all.
I promise you. I let people talk. Hold on. I'll let y'all get y'all points off. Please allow me to finish. All I am saying, and let's make some crazy comparisons. Police officers may not get paid the most money in the world, but their jobs require a level of emotional intelligence that everyone up here or everyone around the world claims police officers should have. There's a certain level of training you should have as an officer, and if you do something egregious because of your emotions, that's the first thing people will lead with. Oh, well, they need to be trained better because you're in a highly emotional situation, whatever the case is. So because you being a police officer, you have a weapon and you hold the lives of people in your hand, you're required to have a higher level of expectation for handling your job. When it comes to basketball players, I get it, they're human. I get it that they have emotions. I get it that they can get mad, sad, up, whatever the case is, but you have an obligation to answer these questions. If you didn't have an obligation to answer these questions, you would not get fined for not showing up. Now, let me say again, I am all okay with what Ja did because I'm not upset with professional athletes having moments of unprofessional whatever. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with what Ja did. My issue is with people who will literally sit up here, talk in a microphone, look in your face, use a thumbs up type on Twitter that says, nah, Ja's not accountable for his actions. It's his coach's fault. Man, he's a grown man. He's a grown man. He made a decision. Yes, that's all he said. Was that professional? Yes or no?
Did he curse somebody out?
Was that professional? Yes or no? Was that professional? Yes or no? Okay, that's it. That's it. End of conversation. End of conversation. End of conversation. We're talking about professionalism. End of conversation. That's it. All this extra hubbly blue hoopla don't matter.
On the TV show,
I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing Ja to a police officer. I'm comparing a professional athlete to a police officer. That's what I'm comparing. The roles you have as a professional athlete. You don't think people is getting knocked off for these parlays that they set up?
I think we should be able. I think we should be able to understand the reason of an analogy without making it a one-to-one comparison. I'm not.
Thank you.
Domo's obviously not saying a professional athlete and a police officer are the same thing.
Right. Of course.
I think he's saying that there's a level of responsibility that comes from both jobs. I'm of the side that I don't care what Ja did. I don't care that he said go ask the coaches stuff. Cool. Say what you want to say. The side that I'm on, and it seems to be I'm arguing maybe against Penn, maybe against Delsky. He is entirely responsible for the words he chose to say. It's him. It's not the coaching staff. It's not Jaren Jackson. It's not Jalen Wells. It's none of them. Ja Morant went into that knowing the media was going to ask him questions, and he knew he was going to answer every question with go ask the coaching staff. He knew what he was going to do, and he decided to do it. Now, all of the repercussions, the consequences, him being suspended by the team, now the backlash he's getting for it, I'm not saying he knew that was coming. What I'm saying is he knew what he wanted to say. He wanted to set out and say, ask the coaching staff. And he did that, and that was his decision. He is responsible for that decision. That's him. It's not the coach. The coaching staff didn't go out there and tell him to go answer the questions that way. They didn't tell him to do that. His teammates didn't tell him to do that. No one told him to do that other than himself. When I come up here and I crash out, there's been many a times I've crashed out. I am responsible for those words that left my mouth. Not because Swiper annoyed me, not because Penn annoyed me. Yes, those things could have happened. But at the end of the day, I am responsible for what I said. When I crash out at Penn, even if Penn annoyed me, even if I think Penn said something stupid, it's my fault for what I said. I chose to say it. Me alone. No one forced me to say those words. Ja Morant chose to do that. The consequences that came from it are because of what he did. Him. No one else. Not Lizolo, whatever the coach's name is. None of them. Him. He could have answered the questions. He could have not answered the questions. He could have said next question. He had a bunch of different options. He chose option number C of go ask the coaches stuff. That was him. That's it.
Does this thing create a firestorm like it already has? So like you think it's nothing. You think what Ja said, go ask the coaching staff. This isn't my bag. Go ask the coaching staff. Do you think this is just nothing?
I think it's nothing. If you ask me, I think it's nothing. I think we just blowing this out of proportion, to be honest. And like I said, I understand the comparison, police officer, basketball player. One is on a TV show and one is, responsible for the lives of the community. Nobody gets asked questions 5 minutes after they play or 5 minutes after your shift. Say you a manager at some place, Taco Bell. Everybody calls out, and now you have to cover for everybody the whole shift for 8 hours. 5 minutes after they start asking you questions. What are you going to say? Oh, ask the general manager. He hires unreliable
Nobody
people.
gets paid $40 million to do their job like that. That's why.
Okay, just because you get money doesn't change.
But Delsky, I think, but Jordan, I think the important connection here, though, I want to be very specific because when I brought up the $42,000 for like the media, what I'm saying is there's a lot of pressure, and this is why like this context is so nuanced. So I don't want to like there is no like just one side here. Penn is saying they deserve an opportunity as athletes to be able to take a moment to collect. What I'm saying is that there's also a structure behind the media, Penn, that is pushing them to have to get this interview done so they can go then do their job. The problem is that when players are in a space where they don't feel like they want to answer questions because they just got heavily criticized by the coaching staff, it creates this tidal wave where all of a sudden Ja's emotions are meeting questions being asked right in the moment, and then it becomes a little bit of a firestorm. And to your context, if this wasn't Ja Morant, this wouldn't be as big of a story because Ja Morant has a lot of self-inflicted wounds that he has imparted on his own career that are a part of why this narrative is so important. Because again, Delsky, I think the thing that's about this right now, the reason why this is being talked about with Ja Morant, I think you can agree with this, is because he has shown bouts of immaturity and bad decisions throughout his career. This, for a lot of people, is a connected incident from immaturity and bad decisions from Ja Morant. So what I'm saying is that might be unfair, but this is to Mars's point. This is why all of who you are matters when you get in these moments. If you have a history that shows immaturity and deflection in the past, and you do that again after playing poorly and being asked a direct question about your career and a game that happened right that moment, people are going to blow it up because it seems like something more than what it is. Whereas Penn is saying this probably is just an isolated moment. He's frustrated. He got coached too hard, and now he's being asked to deliver questions to a media when he should have had a break to take a second to recoup. What I'm saying is, I think all of y'all in some way, shape, or form are right, but I think the issue is that's where, Delsky, you will probably won't like this part, that is where when you are a part of your pay structure is also included in your media responsibility. It's not just on the court stuff. Right. That's a part of how you're paid. There's no other way to go around it. The media directly influence the amount of money that you make, i.e. the voting, i.e. how even writers impact how other GMs and other teams see you.
Don't forget about the content as well.
Yeah, the content, that's how people like literally ingratiate themselves with who you are. So what I'm saying is that might seem unfair, but Penn, and I'm sure you can acknowledge this, you know that these players wouldn't make the money they make without the media. So it's a partnership. It shouldn't be as difficult as it is. It really shouldn't. But I also say this, Penn, most of the media people I know, especially local media, they are in love with these players. They're in love with these teams. They would be more willing to go to bat for them and support them if they have a good relationship with them. But what's happened is,
keep going.
Yeah, and what's happened is, Penn, it's really the other side. Players have animosity towards the media, even local media.
You do.
I'm sorry, Penn. You do. You do need them
because I vividly remember in Oklahoma City during the playoffs. I vividly remember this.
No, it's not newspapers. This is literally media, mind you. Like we're in media.
To be clear, I vividly remember. You have clip of Ja Morant on Twitter.
Man, okay, I'm
really quickly,
get this off for 5 years.
Really quickly, Penn. Go ahead. To swipe this point really quickly, Penn. I vividly remember the Oklahoma City Thunder in the playoffs, and they didn't play well. And the headline in the papers was Kevin Durant choked. They actually retracted that and brought it back and apologized for saying that about Kevin Durant. That absolutely happened. So the swipers point, they do go to bat for these players. They 100%. Now the national media, on the other hand, the guys that work at ABC or ESPN, they want stories. Mm-hmm. They absolutely want this thing to get fired up. Now, the question that needs to be answered here when it comes to Ja, because Dell thinks that this is no big deal, is this situation replicable? Can we fix this? Or is this thing over?
I think none of his teammates care about any of this. None of it. And I think the people in the media zero.
It's not old media. But Jordan, this is why I really, Penn, have tried to stay quiet. We are not in old media. The people that cover your team is new media. These people work on YouTube. These people work on networks. I work for Locked On and Mile High Sports and all these people. These people that do this work are literally delivering information to hundreds of thousands of people on a weekly basis.
But I think you might be a little too close to this, bro. Because
it's not too close.
Right now, we're kind of doing the same thing up here on this stage. This is media, by the way. But what I want to say is that players look, if in 1992, if Michael Jordan wanted to get a statement out, he issues a press. Okay,
release.
Stop.
Yeah,
he issues a press release, or he calls for a press conference. Right now, if Michael Jordan wanted to get if LeBron James wants to let y'all know that he's coming back, if LeBron James wants to let y'all know that he's coming back, just one tweet: "I'm back tomorrow." That's it. Message out, message received. The communication.
Do you think that Dave McMenamin is not a direct connection to ESPN for LeBron James? Because I can verify that for you that he is.
I mean, LeBron didn't just text and say, "Hey, I'm practicing now."
This is not
direct.
So,
the necessity.
Do players rely on media? Do players rely on media, Pin?
I think less than they used to. A lot. Okay, a lot less than
Pin, I will not only will I disagree with you, I'm saying this without revealing anything. I know for a fact a lot of these stories that could get out, that don't get out, are because local media are protecting them. I know for a fact that happens, and guess what, Pin? That happens more often than the other stuff where they reveal stuff. They protect players to a T, not just PR. And by the way, and I can Pin. I have stories in my brain about some of the best players in the league right now that will never get out. But that's what I'm saying. Media works. All media is asking for you to do is tell us, how do you feel like you played today?
That's it.
And that's it. I'm not asking for a biography. I'm just tell me how you played today.
Dell, he didn't.
He told you.
He didn't. He did.
He told you to
Dell,
ask
let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly, Dell. Your boy comes home. Your boy comes home. Your boy comes home. Yo, what happened in school today? Man, go talk to my teacher.
That's crazy.
So what happened? So what happened with this?
That's crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. That's actually like the perfect answer. I'm not gonna lie. That's the perfect parallel. That is the perfect parallel.
Why weren't you? Why didn't
you have not? Because you didn't see what happened in school.
Why didn't you have enough?
You wasn't on the bench.
Go talk to my
teacher. You didn't see what happened. Everybody saw the game. You saw that Josh play his usual amount of minutes. Everybody knows what's going on.
Bro, he played
no one's in the locker room.
I watched you on the live stream.
What are we doing?
Hold on, Damo. Let's go back to the minutes thing, because y'all keep bringing up the minutes thing. In that game, Ja Morant played 30 minutes, and he played like shit in all 30 of them. Why the fuck do I need to play him 38? He playing like garbage.
But Ja's averaging 30 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. So like, why do we keep bringing up the minutes?
That's a bigger issue with Memphis's rotations, and Memphis fans have been talking about that because Lizolo, the coach, has said he wants to do this thing where he's experimenting more with like these shorter stints for everyone, so that everyone is more fresh, giving full energy for like 4 or 5 minute stints, as opposed to like these 8 or 9 minute stints. Now, do I agree with the philosophy? That's neither here nor there. But Ja Morant's minutes are a direct reflection of him bringing the minutes down for the whole team. Jaren's minutes are down. Like every one of their key players, their minutes are lower. It's not a Ja Morant thing. He's bringing the minutes down for everyone because he wants this. His philosophy is everyone play hard for 5 minutes, substitutions, like that's his philosophy. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's the philosophy.
Not the star player, bro.
And he play like ass too. Don't forget that too.
I care about what Cam Spencer thinks about that loss.
Jaren Jackson is averaging 29 minutes a game. Ja Morant's leading the team in minutes, and he's the only one playing 30, and it's 30 on the dot. So that's just a Memphis thing. They're trying to experiment with that rotation thing. So
trade me.
You think I want to ask Cedric Howard how Ja Morant did? No, I want to ask Ja Morant. You think I care what Cam Spencer thinks of Ja playing bad? No, I want to ask Ja Morant. What are we doing? Also, this notion of, well, we all seen the game. We didn't hear the locker room. Josh had bad games before and addressed the media and talked about the game. Obviously, him getting chewed out in front of his own team, which ain't his team no more, but him getting chewed out in front of the team is what caused him to be so emotional. We didn't hear that. No one knew. Hell, the PR didn't even know what was going on. So what are we doing, bro? To answer the original question, this is fixable. This is fixable.
Joy, wait,